Welcome to Required Taste Podcast. We're back. Happy Halloween, motherfuckers. It's Dirty D.
Happy Halloween, everybody. It's your boy, Ted Daddy.
Happy Halloween. It's Queen Bee.
There you go. Nice. This episode actually does come on Halloween. That's crazy.
It does.
Good times. Good fucking times. I'm not trick-or-treating this year. I'm not getting candy. I'm not giving candy.
Why?
I ate a lot of candy.
Well, first and foremost,
Because fuck them kids.
thank you. That was my answer. That's really all I had. That's really it. I told my boss that today. She's like, not the fuck them kids thing, but I'm like, I'm not handing out candy today. She's like, oh, why not? I'm like, because I don't talk to my neighbors.
I'm so excited to give out candy this year because I have glow sticks to give out.
So you're giving out candy and glow sticks.
Hell yeah.
Some raven ass kids.
My house is the house to visit.
Man,
on
one of these
Halloween.
dumbass kids
That's
is
great.
chewing them glow sticks.
That's fine. That's not my fault.
I like your style.
Raise your kids better.
Hell yeah.
Well, yeah, that's fair. Or don't.
I mean,
Yeah, maybe.
Oh, yeah.
It's fine. It's fine. It's all fine. Anyways, welcome to Required Taste Podcast. We are mostly a history podcast. We talk about a little bit of everything, though. So if you are new, welcome.
welcome.
What's up? Thanks for stopping by. We appreciate the listen. If you are old, what's happening? Welcome back. We love you.
Yeah.
Next time we see you, you get forehead kisses
Mm-hmm.
from DJ. Indeed.
That's what it's going to sound like.
The freshest. Only the crispiest of kisses. And shout out to those who've been following us. Our followers have been going up like every week, so we thank you for that. I was going to stats from last year. We're the top 15% of followed podcasts last year on Spotify. This year, we have to be higher than that. So thank you in advance before those stats come out.
Yeah.
It's next month, actually. Spotify does their Wrapped.
Oh.
So we'll find out next month.
That's
So
Hell
where we're
yeah.
sitting at.
Is that going to be our first one? Our first,
second one.
Second one? Oh, yeah, we did have a
We did have one last year. Yep.
last
Mhm.
year. That's right.
Yeah, that's where I got the stat from for the 15% thing. So
Yeah.
Cool.
thank you all for your support. We do appreciate it. We do see it. So thanks for that. And like I said, if you're new, give us a follow.
Hell yeah.
We're kind of cool
Sometimes.
sometimes.
Yeah, we like to bullshit. We're going to do a little bit of banter.
Yeah.
So if you're not into that, you probably don't use your fucking turning signals. You goddamn fucking idiot.
So it's people that don't listen to our bullshit in the beginning of the podcast and BMW drivers.
I'm
Yeah.
it's just those two demographics.
gonna try to weed it out right from the beginning.
/ Illinois drivers.
Fucking over-rolling, non-turn signal using son of a bitch.
Sons of a guns. Anyways, so we always start off with a question. I think, Deej, you've been holding on to a question for like 2 weeks now.
Yeah. Do we get to learn
Are
the
we
question this
diving
week?
into that today?
Is this
Yeah.
a Halloween question?
It is. It's
Okay.
super simple.
Cool.
I don't know why I didn't ask it before. But what's your guys' favorite Halloween movie? It could be horror. Could
Oh,
be,
man, that's a good question.
But because there's
Wow.
so many different types that you can consider Halloween. It could be a funny one. It could just be a classic fucking horror film.
Sure.
Anything like
Yeah.
that.
I don't know if I have a favorite Halloween film, but I do have a Halloween tradition for watching though. I marathon every Bob's Burgers Halloween special on Halloween.
Yeah, I count
actually.
that. Yeah,
Nice.
so that would
So-
be your favorite. Yeah,
Yeah, that's
fucking A.
it makes me laugh every year. It's just like when they do Christmas specials. I watch the Christmas special at Christmas
I
every
think
year.
that counts.
Yeah, so yeah, I'm gonna go with that. That's my answer.
Hell yeah.
Write that down.
Right.
Jot that down.
Got that.
Whoever cares. What you got, B?
I don't know. I love Halloween movies. I love scary movies.
Mm-hmm.
It's really hard to decide, but I guess I really like I like the cozy Halloween movies too, like Practical Magic and Hocus Pocus and like kind of
Yeah.
like the fun ones.
Okay.
Those I can watch like over and over and over again. I like scary movies a lot, but I don't usually watch them over and over again.
Yeah.
Like, I guess as far as my favorite horror movies, I'm a big fan of like the found footage ones. I like Blair Witch. I know a lot of people hate Blair Witch.
Yeah, I do love those.
Yeah, I
think
give
we
it a
talked
lot of
about that
credit
last
for
time,
starting
yeah.
that genre, though. Like,
Yeah.
it created a whole nother genre of film.
Oh, big time.
When they did that. So,
For sure.
even if you don't like, you got to respect that hustle.
Yeah. I like the first Paranormal Activity. The rest of them kind of got a little shitty, but
Hell yeah.
Fair
and
enough.
then I like psychological thrillers and ones that like fuck with your head.
Sure.
So I just watched Get Out for the first time.
Oh, how'd that go?
Last week.
I haven't seen that one.
I have.
Me and Melina were like really confused at the end of it. It was
that-
really good up until like the last like twist at the end, I guess.
That's the one with Bautista.
I'm sorry?
Is that the one with Bautista? The guy that was
You mean Bautista and no.
Bautista? I thought that's how you say his name was Bautista.
No, you're talking about the wrestler, right?
Yeah.
No, it was Bautista.
Oh.
He's not in it.
And he's not in that one. This is like the first, what was it, Jordan Peele?
It's the Jordan Peele
The
one.
first of his movies was that
Yeah.
one. I
I'm thinking
think.
of fucking
Yeah.
M.
The cabin wood thing.
Shabalava fucking
Shyamalan.
Shamalama
Yeah.
Ding Dong.
Yeah, yes, M. Night Shyamalan.
yeah.
Indeed. God, I hate him so much.
Hey, are my headphones low or do I sound quiet to you guys?
I forgot what number you are,
Oh, that's okay.
but you sound normal. I mean, you're showing
As
up.
long as I sound normal to you guys.
Yeah, you're
it's
showing up
probably just
normally
me.
on
Okay,
here,
cool.
so you're good. Yeah, you're all good.
Cool.
You are.
I just wanted to make sure before we like go through this whole thing and then no one can hear me.
Oh yeah, right. Like we're only 6 minutes in. We can fix it.
yeah.
No, everything's fine. You're
Okay. All right. Cool. Anyway,
good. You are good.
what about you, DJ?
Yeah.
Man, so I got so many that are like my favorites. But if I'm going for number one, I'm gonna go with like what was my childhood favorite, and that was Ernest Scared Stupid.
That was on my
Hell yeah.
list actually. I was thinking about it.
Dude, I used to like I could still rewatch it nowadays because now it's just fucking hilarious to me.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I get stoned to watch that shit. But when I was a kid, dude, like Ernest was just fucking gold, dude. All of his movies were the shit. But Ernest Scared
Oh, yeah,
Stupid was
definitely.
my favorite. Other than that, dude, I love like really shitty horror
Oh,
films. Like
Leprechaun in the Hood.
like
your jam.
worse than that, dude. Like Z-rated fucking films. I'm talking like $2,000 budgets, like real shitty, like Lamageddon.
Sharknado.
That's actually higher budget.
Sharks of the Corn.
There
Sharks
we go.
of the
That
Corn.
one.
Yeah, Sharks of the Corn.
Sharks of the Corn.
We have discussed this.
Yeah,
I don't know if we discussed it on the podcast or not, but we have had a conversation
we
about
have
this.
discussed it on the podcast. Those are two you should definitely check out. Velocipaster, that's another really good one.
Velocipaster.
I saw the trailer for that. I'm like, I'm too sober for this. I quit smoking weed years ago. I need to start if I'm
Yeah.
going to watch that.
A classic. It actually has Paul Walker and Denise Richards in it. I don't know if you guys ever seen it. It's called Tammy and the T-Rex.
I've heard of that.
That's a goddamn film right
I
there.
have absolutely heard of that.
If you guys have never heard of that, do yourself a favor. Just type in your phone right now, Tammy and the T-Rex. It's got fucking Denise Richards, Paul Walker,
Mm-hmm.
a young Denise Richards and Paul Walker.
Yeah, I've heard of it. I've never watched it.
Yeah, and it's a god awful movie,
Oh, I would hope so. With that title like that, it can't be good. There's no way it can be good.
but it's so bad that
It is good.
It's good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. At the end, you're like, I'll watch that again. Yeah. And I have.
Yeah, I feel that.
So there's this movie that you would probably like. It's just called Bats.
Ooh,
And
perfect.
it is.
Say no more. Sold.
He's
Yeah,
blind.
yeah, yeah.
They're kind of blind.
Yeah.
They're best friends already.
It's 1999.
Mm.
And
That's. I think you already sold him.
yeah,
Okay.
you should definitely check that out.
I think you've.
yeah.
You've successfully sold him on this idea.
I'll like scour Shudder,
Yeah.
the app, and I'll just like
This one I think is on Tubi.
Tubi. Okay.
Oh,
Yeah, I don't think I have
ooh,
Oh,
Okay.
high end.
I think it isn't Tubi free.
I
I think it is.
think it might be. There's a bunch of free ones now. I can't remember all.
Yeah.
I can't
Sounds
keep up on
free.
them.
Tubi,
Tell you
Freebie.
Yeah, because there is Freevee, which is one. There's Peacock, which is another one.
Peacock isn't free.
Oh, maybe I get it through Comcast.
Yeah, probably.
I think
Oh.
it is. There's a free version, but it fucking.
I mean, I have
sucks
commercials.
balls.
It has commercials in it. I rarely ever use
and it's
it.
really glitchy.
I've never had a problem with that.
Mm.
But I mean, I remember like that was one of the few places I found Jurassic Park.
Oh,
Yeah, if Jurassic Park's ever an option to watch, I'm gonna watch it. Like every time.
yeah.
Cannot stop that.
Life finds a way.
I mean, life finds a way, and the whole movie would have never happened if you paid the IT guy more.
I've heard you say that before.
And I believe it. Tech Daddy has spoken. Pay me, or I will ruin you.
Or you will all be eaten by dinosaurs.
I mean, if I had that power, if only I had that power. Anywho, so this week we're going back to the rest of our the finale, actually the grand finale of our spooky stories for October. And this time, B picked it. So, she's going to be taking the floor on this one. So hope you guys enjoy. I'm going to be sitting back because I don't know shit.
Guys, they're letting me loose with a true crime story.
Yep. It finally happened. She wanted true crime.
Happening.
You guys have wanted true crime. We listen to the people.
Yes.
That's right.
You're all welcome. And I don't know shit about fuck. So this is going to be great for me to just kind of sit back and learn myself, actually. I'm going to be learning just like everybody else. So, B, you want to dive into it?
Yeah, absolutely.
Hell yeah.
All right, so this is probably the story that got me into true crime in the first place.
We have an origin story
We have
for
an
B.
origin story.
All right.
This one started my love of true crime.
Mm-hmm.
And it's honest to God one of the most bizarre true crime cases still to this day that I've ever heard. It's pretty well known, so a lot of you are probably going to know it already. But if not, you need to know about this. This is crazy. This is one of the craziest cases in existence. So it's about a young Canadian exchange student named Elisa Lamb.
Elisa Lamb.
Elisa Lamb.
Canadian. Okay, right
She's
on.
Canadian. I mean, she is, I believe, she's Asian. I want to say Vietnamese. Her family's Vietnamese, or I could be wrong, but she was born in Canada. She grew up in Canada.
Okay.
And so she was traveling through California. She's a college age student. And she checked in on January 28th, 2013 to a hotel in downtown Los Angeles called the Cecil Hotel. Now, this hotel has a long, very infamous history. It is in what's known as Skid Row in Los Angeles, which is kind of a seedy area. It's an area where there's a lot of homeless people. There's a lot of drug use. There's a lot of not so nice things that go on in this area.
Yes,
and then,
Skid Row's wild.
Yeah.
If you ever it's almost every street in LA, it seems like. But Skid Row specifically, the sidewalks are just jam packed with tents.
Yep.
It is what it sounds like. There's some oddball number, 65,000 homeless people in LA, and the main center of that is fucking Skid Row.
Yeah.
And the Cecil Hotel was originally built as just a regular hotel, but then after the Depression, it became a low budget hotel. So it just kind of attracted.
It's kind of fancy
people,
when you look at it. If you look at pictures and when it was
Yeah.
built in the 20s, it was a fancy hotel. It was a pretty nice place.
Oh yeah,
Okay.
yeah, it definitely was. It was built as a good travel destination for tourists,
Right on.
business people, all that. But I said, after the Great Depression, it became budget hotel, cheap stay.
So, what year are we talking about here?
So the year that Elisa checked into the Cecil Hotel, so this was 2013.
Oh, this wasn't that long ago.
No.
Oh, I'm used to us doing some old stuff. This is actually this is 10 years ago.
No, this one's fucking cool because there's footage.
Yes, there is
Okay.
amazing, wild, insane, creepy footage.
Okay, well, I'm sorry. Continue on. Let me not interrupt you. And
No, you're fine.
Getting in on a roll here
Ask as many questions as you want.
because I don't know nothing.
This is, so there is so much information about this case. There are so many web sleuths. There are so many YouTubers who have talked about this case in depth, just ad nauseum. There are videos. If you want a really, really good series about this case and you want someone who really, really dives deep into it, I really recommend John Lorden. His YouTube channel is Lorden Arts. He does a super duper deep dive. We are not going to get that deep today.
Yeah.
We're kind of just going to cover the basics, but I know so much about this case, and there's so much to know about this case that I could go on for days, but I'm going to try to keep it as brief and as concise as I can today.
Yeah. My number one red alarm is this fucking girl is traveling by herself.
Yeah.
From Canada to LA.
Yeah, why?
I get it, the exchange student thing.
Yeah, I think she was a student, so I'm pretty sure it was something for school. It was a school trip, or not a school trip with her school, but she was studying somewhere. I want to say
maybe she was unaware of Skid Row in LA.
That's
Sure.
what they theorize. They theorize that she she was passing through LA. She wasn't really planning on staying there for a long time. And so she was kind of just looking for a hotel that was in her budget and that was somewhere that she could stay for like a few days. And the thought is that because she was from Canada, she didn't know that was a not so good area to stay in. And like I said, the Cecil Hotel has kind of a crazy history. DJ, if you want to talk a little bit more about the history of the Cecil Hotel.
Yeah, Cecil's wild just because, you guys probably know it right off the bat because it's the inspiration for American Horror Story, which I've actually watched very small amounts of, not even a full episode. I've just kind of seen bits and pieces here or there, But like I said, the stay, now it's called the Stay on Main. It's not the Cecil Hotel anymore. But back in the day when it was first made in 1924, nice hotel. Great Depression happens. It's a cheap hotel now. So, of course, this attracts, drug dealers, sex workers, homeless people, those types of people, So that comes with the price, But it's kind of weirder than that, because the Cecil Hotel has a lot of suicides over the years. It's had 1 and 2, we just found out recently, serial killers who have stayed there. Richard Ramirez stayed there, the Night Stalker. What was the other gentleman's name? We just talked about him.
Jack. Oh gosh, I can't say his last name.
He was from Austria, right?
But Tech Daddy can.
Oh yeah, I completely forgot it already.
Wait, hang on. Jack. Here, it's right here. Unterweger. Unter.
Oh, I see it. Unterweger.
Yeah.
There you go. You got a little spice to it.
He was an Austrian serial killer. His story is kind of crazy too. He was a serial killer in Austria, and then he went to jail for a little while, but then he became like a really successful author. And so they like let him out of jail because he was a really successful author.
Was ist das?
Makes like no sense. And they were like, "It's a really good book. You deserve to."
Right, that's
be
a bit
released
wild.
from jail. And then he ended up killing like a ton more people.
Well, of course he fucking did.
Yeah, it's
that's something.
So he
All right.
stayed there.
So yeah, there's the serial killers, Richard Ramirez, this gentleman. Some of the suicides are kind of weird. I'm going to briefly go over some of them because one of them in particular is really fucking kind of crazy, and unfortunate. But I'll just go over some random ones. 1931, suicide, W.K. Norton ingesting poison. 1932, another suicide, Benjamin Dodich, gunshot to the head. Suicide, 1934, slit throat, Sergeant Lewis D. Borden, 1937, 1940, 1944. The list goes on, pretty fucking steep. I'm going to fast forward to 1962. This one's a really fucking... I don't want to say it's a cool story, but it's like...
It's a wild story.
Yeah, there you go.
Wild.
We can't really say that it's a cool story. It's
a story.
There you go.
In my head, when I read it, I'm like, oh, that's cool. But then I can't say that out loud.
You keep doing it.
I'm sorry. Wait, hold on. I'm almost here.
Yeah, there was a lot. There was a lot of suicides. There was serial killers. There was crazy shit that went on there.
Yeah, this is a woman, Pauline Auten, committed suicide from the 7th floor. She wrote her husband a suicide note and then leaps out 7 stories, and lands on a pedestrian, a Sir George Giannini, a 65-year-old man who was just walking by, and she fucking lands right on top of him.
Yeah, he just happened to be walking right where she was suiciding.
I would be so fucking pissed. So pissed. Like, you have your own trauma and you go kill yourself. Look both ways first.
Look both ways before jumping out of a building.
Yeah, right. Don't be a dick about it.
Something.
Right.
Give it a fucking...
Jeez, what an ass. Like, if I was
Clear
Mr.
space,
Giannini,
please.
I'd be like, if I could haunt her for the rest of my life, I would.
Oh, God.
Just kicking the crap out of her.
This hotel is haunted as fuck.
Oh, it has to be.
Dude, having an old man Italian ghost haunting you for the rest of your fucking life.
I mean, you kind of do. Your dad lives with you.
Give yourself one. Go ahead.
Thank you.
Oh,
that was
shit.
solid.
Thank you. Felt good about that.
It's true.
Right. Yo, Deej.
Oh, shit.
Just fucking Italians at you.
Hey, take me to the gas station. It's like 3 a.m. Wakes me up out of my sleep.
I believe that. I actually do believe that.
Hell yeah. So yeah, that was a really fucking crazy one. And honestly, the list goes on so fucking deep, man. There's a lot of them. But if we fast forward to February 2013, where we're at right now, we're going to land right back at Elisa Lam.
One other really interesting thing about the Cecil Hotel is I don't know if either of you are familiar with the Black Dahlia case, but the Cecil Hotel was the last known place where Elizabeth Short was seen.
Oh, that's right.
Interesting.
Yep. I was briefly considering doing that case today, but then I just was like, I have to do Elisa Lam instead because that is just way more intriguing.
She was seen at the bar.
She was having a drink at the bar, and that was the last place she was seen.
Write that down. We'll get there.
I think that's actually on the list.
It's a good one. It's a good one. I think this one is more. There's more speculation with this one. There's more room for conspiracy theories. There's more room for conjecture. But that one is a classic case.
Oh yeah, very much so. I mean, I know about it, and then it's also my niece. I guess she's not family by any means, but she's my friend's. She calls me her uncle anyway, so whatever. But she's named Dahlia. She's named after that. After the
Dahlia, yeah.
Yeah, she's adorable. Shout out to them.
Aw.
I think they listen to us too. So what's up, Levi?
What's up?
Brittany? What's happening?
Hell yeah.
We'll dedicate that episode to her.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Just have her here like a little kid just hanging out like, what's up? Like,
Yeah, just chilling. What are your thoughts on this case?
She's like 6. She has a lot of thoughts though.
I'm sure she does.
They have a lot of thoughts at that age.
Yeah. The hotel is very notorious. It has a very notorious reputation. There's a lot of really weird things that have happened there. So that kind of propelled this case a little bit. Again, we're going to talk about why this case actually went viral in a bit, but that was one of the reasons why this case is so intriguing. But so January 28, 2013, Elisa Lam checks into the Cecil Hotel in downtown Los Angeles. She's traveling through California, and she decided to stop there. She checked into, at the time, there was part of the hotel which was called Stay on Main. It was still the Cecil Hotel at that time, but part of it was called Stay on Main, and it was a hostel style part of the hotel. And so that you would room with like several other people when you stayed there. So she checked in there and she stayed in this area of the hotel, which was called Stay on Main, and she was with some roommates, and the roommates actually complained to the hotel that she was exhibiting odd behavior. And they actually moved her. They requested that she be moved from their room, and so she was moved into a private room. So that was the first kind of strange thing that happened. On January 31st is the last time that Elisa Lam is seen. It was the day before she was supposed to check out of the hotel. She visited a bookstore called The Last Bookstore. And this is
ominous.
Isn't that ominous? Isn't that crazy? This is the last time anyone sees her alive.
Okay.
So normally her family would hear from her every single day. She contacted her family every day. She talked to them a lot. They hadn't heard from her in a couple days, so they kind of freaked out and they called the LAPD. The LAPD took it pretty seriously, I think, at the time. They ended up kind of like jumping right into an investigation. This was an international case because, again, she was a Canadian student, and so they started taking the case very seriously. And let me also talk just for a moment about Elisa herself. She was diagnosed with bipolar disorder. She was on medication for it, and she was very vocal about her mental health struggles. She talked a lot. She had a very active Tumblr account, which Tumblr was like huge in 2013. Yeah. She had a very active Tumblr account, and she posted a lot about having depression and kind of the very, very, I guess you could say, normal, relatable thoughts for someone who has different types of mental health disorders. She talked about how, everyone seems to be progressing in their life and she's not going anywhere and she doesn't know where she belongs and she doesn't feel like she's where she's supposed to be and all these things. She's trying to find herself. She's very expressive in a lot of her Tumblr posts. She kind of uses it as a little bit of a diary.
Sure.
And this is also a way that the LAPD helped piece together kind of her movements and what she was doing in these last days was because she was so active on her Tumblr account. So keep that in mind for a lot of this case is that she did have bipolar disorder.
Okay.
And if you know anything about bipolar disorder, you have manic episodes where you have a lot of really high energy and you have you can do a lot of impulsive things and it can be, you can exhibit risky behavior and things like that. And then you also have depressive episodes where you can go into depressions. You can be very sad. You can be sometimes suicidal. You can be very demotivated and have a lot of people with bipolar have a lot of trouble with anxiety. And it's not fun. It can get you to do some crazy things sometimes, unfortunately. So on February 6th, the LAPD held a press conference regarding her disappearance. Her family was there. They didn't really say much though, but her family did fly out to LA to be there for the investigation. On February 13th, the LAPD released footage of Elisa in an elevator. The police published the infamous 4-minute security video captured on February 1st, hoping that the public would recognize her. They were kind of, I guess, certain because of the security footage that they had that she was still in the hotel because they didn't have any footage of her exiting. But this footage is the only footage that they have released.
Mm-hmm.
And this video is bananas. Absolutely crazy. And this is kind of the reason that this case went viral. Me and DJ were just looking at it again a minute ago. But
yeah, I'm gonna just kind of have it playing here.
Yeah. Go ahead. If you want to kind of like, we can like narrate it a little bit. So basically, Elisa gets into an elevator. By the way, if you want to pause it real fast.
Yeah.
She is on in this elevator. So she was staying on the 5th floor, I believe. The 5th floor was where her room was. In this video, she is on the 14th floor. You want to know what's really interesting about the 14th floor? That is where Richard Ramirez lived. Was the 14th floor of the Cecil Hotel.
Mm-hmm.
Reminds me of a Mitch Hedberg joke. You know how some hotels don't have a 13th floor?
The 13th
Right.
floor.
Yeah, he's like, well, so when you're on the 14th floor, you know what floor you're really on.
I mean, I don't know if the Cecil Hotel has a 13th floor. I probably should have looked that up. But
I mean, it's probably old enough to.
yeah, I'm sure.
Yeah.
It probably
I mean,
is.
we're talking about pre-Great Depression. I'm pretty sure the superstition wasn't there yet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I could be wrong.
So you can see Elisa in this video footage. She steps into an elevator and she kind of exaggeratedly bends down and presses a bunch of buttons all in a row, right? So she's kind of waiting for the elevator door to close and it doesn't close. Then she steps out of the door and kind of like looks around really quickly like she's looking for someone. Like she's expecting someone to be there following her or something.
Yeah, she does like a sneak. Like she doesn't like fully go
Yeah.
out. She kind of just pokes her
She
head.
like pokes her head out and looks back and forth really quick and then
Yeah.
pulls herself back in. And then she goes and hides kind of in the corner of the elevator by the button panel.
Yeah, that's the weird part. It's almost as if like she's like playing with a child or something. Because that's
Yes.
like playing like hide and seek thing.
Yeah, so
you know?
that's what a lot of like there have been so many people body language experts who've analyzed this footage and a lot of them make the comment that her behavior seems playful.
Yeah.
Like she is waiting for someone to follow her or she's playing hide and seek with a child or with a friend or she's goofing off or doing something goofy. It also kind of seems so then she steps out of the elevator, she kind of jumps out really fast. She does this weird side step to the left, and then she steps back into the elevator in like almost a robotic kind of way.
She does that step that guys do when they're trying to get their balls loose. When they walk. You know what I'm talking about?
I didn't even have to see it. What was I talking about? It happens.
Yeah, she does that. So then she's standing outside the elevator at this point, and she starts waving her hands in what a lot of people describe it as a very bizarre manner. Her fingers are spread out and her hands are kind of contorted in a way where it looks like she's gesturing to something on the ground or it looks like she's just making kind of strange hand gestures. She's got her hands like up in the air. She comes back into the elevator. She presses all the buttons again. And then one theory here is that she seems kind of confused as to why the elevator door isn't shutting, right?
Yeah.
That seems like one of the things that she's kind of dealing with in this video. She's kind of like, why isn't this door shutting, right? She's waiting for it to shut. So one of the theories here is when she ran down that elevator panel, all the buttons, she's actually pressing the door open button. And the door open button is holding the doors open.
Oh, yeah.
And another thing that kind of backs up that theory is that Elisa wears glasses. She doesn't have her glasses on in this video. So she could just be pressing buttons, hoping she gets where she needs to go, and accidentally presses that door open button.
It almost appears to me like, because she has the playful manner, and then she steps outside the elevator, and then she starts doing kind of weird gestures. To me, it looks like she's stressed, as if like she kind of realized maybe what she was seeing isn't there. And now she's like having confusion. She's like, what the fuck was that even? Because she comes back in the elevator with like her hands on her head. Like she's like, what the fuck? Like, As if she's like, what the hell did I just see? You know?
She comes back in like with her hands up in the air, kind of almost seeming confused.
Yeah.
And that's another one of the theories, is that she is having a manic episode. And sometimes during manic episodes, you can have delusions. You can see things. You can be extremely paranoid. Paranoia is a common problem in manic episodes.
Here, can you see any of this, Aaron?
Yeah, Aaron hasn't seen this like at all.
Oh, no, I have not seen it at all. Aha. Why are her hands so big?
Yeah, that's a comment that people make a lot, is that when she is making those exaggerated hand motions, that
it looks like she's almost speaking in sign language, but
that her fingers look really long and her hands look really long, but I think that might just be a video distortion.
Sure.
Also, one thing that you might notice about the footage. Oh, wait. I can't reach it.
Tiny arms did not work out.
Yeah, go back and pause it really fast. So if you look at the timestamp on the bottom of the footage, it is impossible to read.
Oh, yeah, that's just fuzzy as hell.
It is very, very fuzzy. It's very, very pixelated. And it's believed that the LAPD did this on purpose when they released the footage.
Okay.
In order to hide the timestamp from the public, to keep it as, I guess, further evidence, in case they had a suspect and they needed to line up the timelines or whatever. So that's a theory. So if you look at the timestamp, it's very, very blurry. It's very, very pixelated. You cannot make out the timestamp.
Sure.
Also, what some internet sleuths have kind of come to discover is that this footage is actually slowed down.
Okay.
Significantly. So it's very strange because no one really knows why the video footage is slowed down. No one knows who slowed it down. It was either the hotel slowed it down and then gave it to the police, or the police slowed it down before they released it to the public. No one really knows why, but if you watch it at normal speed, and there's a video on YouTube of it at normal speed, and I forget what it's called, but you can probably look it up. Her movements look a little less strange. Like it very much looks like she's in the hallway talking to someone. Like there's another person in the hallway outside the elevator, and her gestures look a little bit more. They look a little faster, so they look a little bit more normal. Like it's a little hard to describe unless you actually see them side by side. But her movements and her gestures are very strange. Yeah, there it is.
Yeah, there's a side by side.
It's what is that? Cody Fry on YouTube. They do a side by side of the video footage sped up.
Oh wow, yeah, that's like.
Yeah, it looks a lot more normal. Her motions when it's normal speed, right? It looks very playful. It looks like she's kind of waiting for somebody, or she's trying to scare somebody who's coming into the elevator. And then to me, like you said, DJ, it kind of seems like maybe she is. This is just all my opinion, but it looks like maybe she's hallucinating.
Yeah, see, that's my thing too, because sometimes when it comes to like mental disorders, like bipolar disorder or schizophrenia or things like that, you can hear or see things,
Yeah.
And it almost seems like she's coming in and out of a reality check, you know, like she's now realizing things aren't real that maybe she thought was real, you know?
Yeah.
And because she just gets really confused after that. And
Yeah.
that almost, like, to me, that's almost something I feel like I would do. Like if I had seen something alarming and it wasn't there anymore, I just go in the elevator. I'm like, fuck.
Yeah. And then she goes in and she presses all the buttons, and it seems like she's trying to get out of there.
Yeah. By the way, let's talk about like schizophrenia and stuff like that. There is a game that's rated extremely highly for this because it depicts it very, very well. It's called Second of Sacrifices on Game Pass for Xbox if you have it. I think it might be on PC too. Either way, it's a phenomenal game. Though what they did a study and interviewed people with schizophrenia, like lots of people. And if you ever play it, it's better to wear headphones with it because you're playing as this character, but you're actually in her head, and you can hear all the things that she hears in her head. So the voices that she hears, you hear. It's a wild game. It's only like 6 hours.
I think I seen
Holy
a preview
cow.
of that actually.
They're making a new one. So it was done very, very well. So that's something that I always, whenever I think about that, it was rated highly by those who have it and experts that study it because it was that realistic and in accordance with what those that have schizophrenia actually do experience. And I will say that game is freakier than fuck. Just because of like hearing these voices telling you to do things or telling you that you're not real or that they're not real or that this isn't real or that is real. Like there's like 4 or 5 different people speaking to you in whispers at all times.
Oof.
And not even whisper, some of them yell at you. It's nuts.
So one thing that I learned just from like talking to people with schizophrenia and watching videos and listening to podcasts, a common thing for schizophrenic people who have like full blown hallucinations to determine whether or not something is real, they will look at it through their phone. So like if you are experiencing a hallucination, you're looking at someone and you don't know if they are real or not. If you look through your phone at the camera and they're not there, they're not real. Yeah.
That makes a lot of sense. I never thought about that.
Yeah.
It's fucking brilliant.
I know. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah. It's crazy.
But yeah, it almost seems like she is kind of looking at something or someone, and then she gets really confused and freaked out.
Yeah, this guy says here they slowed it down 135%.
Yes. So, and that's something that I think contributes to what people are considering like very like bizarre emotions. I think it's a little less bizarre than people think it is. I think a lot of it is just her gesturing to someone who is either there or someone she thinks is there.
Yeah.
And then she kind of gives up. I think she's pressing when she hits all those buttons. She's hitting the door hold button.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And she's confused as to why it's not shutting. And then she kind of gives up and walks out.
Yeah.
And that's the last of the footage. They do continue to show the footage of the elevator going to all the different floors for whatever reason. I don't know why that footage is included, but it is.
Yeah. You know, another alarming thing, it seems from her Tumblr, she was even posting, like, she posted a lot, like you said, but she had an interesting post in January talking about somebody, some creepy guy that approached her, talking about, how the fuck did she say this? It says, quotes, "I'm going out tonight. I really hope no creeper comes near me. Seriously, though, those Italian and Mexican guys go after you strong."
DJ.
Literally what you're made out of.
I didn't do it.
Damn.
I synced it.
We need to call the
DJ,
LAPD.
Where were you in 2013?
Yeah. What were you doing?
I was working at an oil refinery.
Yeah, sure you were.
Likely story.
Doing midnights at an oil refinery.
A likely story.
Yeah. This also says that it has, this obviously isn't released. This is just what this guy posted on his fucking site, whatever, listverse.com.
A lot of this is stuff that was not officially released, but it's kind of like people on the internet have pieced a lot of things together.
Yeah, because they're saying that she entered the lobby with 2 men.
Yes. So apparently, I haven't seen it, but apparently footage exists of her entering the lobby with 2 men.
Yeah, and they had a box that they gave her.
Yeah, she was holding some sort of a box.
What's in the box?
What's in the box?
What's in the box?
Thank you.
Like, oh no.
So yeah, but I mean, supposedly this footage exists. I mean, I've never seen it. I'm not saying it doesn't exist at all. It does apparently exist, but it hasn't. I don't think it's been like officially released.
Yeah, and honestly, if you're asking my opinion, I've hung out with a lot of crazy chicks before.
You literally have to move into your house.
And who don't
Stop doing that.
Ones who maybe haven't taken medication or haven't got medication yet, but sometimes they can hang out with the most interesting characters on a whim and put like full trust into just random people, you know. So it doesn't seem out of the ordinary. It almost sounds like she's off medication because she has a series of posts talking about how depression sucks. All this stuff leading up into it, and then her just kind of like going out in LA and like knowing that there's creepy guys hitting on her. It's almost like
she's kind of making poor decisions.
Yeah, just like clearly, just like.
So there is a theory that she was off of her medication. And well, I'll get into that a little bit more in a minute.
Yeah.
So on after they release the footage, it goes viral. Everyone is looking for her. The police are scouring the hotel, supposedly scouring the hotel. They claim they checked every nook and cranny of the hotel. They brought dogs in.
Yeah, I mean, technically, you can't even really check the other rooms, though.
That was
people
the
are
thing.
Staying there.
So, like, apparently, they couldn't check people's rooms because they needed probable cause that a crime was committed. Yeah,
just look down the hallways. They're like,
and they didn't know that a crime was committed. They didn't know that, you know. So, like, they would ask people if they could check their room, but if the people said no, that they were just kind of out of luck. So they brought dogs in. The dogs picked up her scent, and then lost it near a window on the 14th floor, I believe. Yeah. So this window led up to a fire escape.
Okay.
Supposedly that led up to the roof.
Okay.
Now I'm going to tell you where Elisa was found. On February 19th, a worker at the hotel, a maintenance man, finds Elisa Lamb's body in one of its water tanks.
Like on top of the building water tanks?
On top of the building, on the roof, water tanks.
Yeah.
And what led to this discovery was that residents of the hotel, people who were staying there, started to complain that the water had a funny taste and was coming out brown.
This is what messes me up. Because like people were complaining for like a little bit.
Yeah, like weeks.
It wasn't even like just like like
Well,
I
yeah, 'cause
noticed.
it's going to take a little bit.
Yeah, people complained of dark water that smelt and tasted a little funny.
Yeah. So I mean, Elisa was last seen on January 31st. Her body wasn't found until February 19th.
What was I would say January to February? You said?
Yeah, January 31st to February 19th.
Crackheads don't give a fuck, man.
20 days. Yeah.
I'm not drinking hotel water anymore. Like that's not okay.
Yeah, they were receiving complaints that the water tasted and
Yeah,
smelled
because it
funny.
has person in it.
They didn't know that yet.
Well, what's left of person in it?
Yep, and it was coming out of the tap,
Probably a little poo.
like colored, like brown.
Yeah, that's what's left of flesh.
Correct.
Just decomposing person.
Yep. They were complaining that the pressure was low. It tasted funny.
Well, yeah,
It appeared discolored.
It's fucking corpse wax coming out the fucking.
Oh God! Not the corpse wax. Oh man!
Still have that sound effect.
I'm so glad
I missed that
you
one.
used that.
That's a good one.
That was perfect. Oh man!
Yeah, and
It's like so funny because I'm thinking about like, you know, why they have the tanks on the roof, right? Because they help with water pressure, right? It's like a water tower for a building.
Correct. Yeah.
So wait, this was the building next door or a few buildings over?
This was the same building.
Oh, the same fucking hotel?
The same hotel.
Oh, they didn't go that far.
Building.
oh,
So it's like, huh, she's on the roof.
Yeah.
Nah.
Yeah.
It's kept the fucking rolling.
He's like, you don't think? He's like, nah. No.
Could be.
Supposedly they checked the roof. But apparently what they didn't see was the hatch to the water tank wide open.
Mm-hmm.
Because apparently, so the maintenance worker who found her body, his name was Santiago Lopez, he claims that the hatch was open when he found it. Mm-hmm. Which some people have speculated that maybe he's lying about that, or the hotel had him lie about that, or something. Because initial reports were that it was closed, and it was kind of crazy how would she have closed it behind her, or like whatever.
Well, there's no way, because there shouldn't be a hatch from the inside.
So that was kind of what led to really early speculations of people thinking that she was murdered.
But didn't they say something about water pressure too? If the hatch is open, the pressure can't be right.
Yeah, there was low water pressure.
Yeah, it was low water pressure.
Then because the tank itself should be pressurized, right?
I don't know.
I mean, it would make sense if
Do I look like a water tank expert?
I don't know. You look like somebody that knows shit. At least I thought.
I don't know shit, but you know I don't know shit.
Anyways, I mean, I'm just guessing, but I would think that would have to be pressurized in order to maintain pressure for the building.
I mean, I don't know. It's an old building. Did they know how to pressure?
Yeah, honestly, they probably weren't too unfamiliar with some stanky water coming out of that hotel.
Yeah.
You know.
So, anyway, it's officially like in the records that it was open when he found it.
Yeah.
And he kind of went over to the hatch and looked inside, and he saw Elisa Lamb's body floating face up in the water tank. She was naked. They placed a do not drink order on this Cecil Hotel's water system.
I would hope.
Obviously. So the coroner's office issues a finding of accidental drowning. Eventually, like that was the official cause of death.
I want to go swimming. Let's get butt naked and go on a freaking.
That's the thing. Okay, so
right. That seems reasonable.
Her clothes were found in the tank with her.
Okay.
So she didn't get in. She didn't take off her clothes and then get in the tank naked. We know that. She either had her clothes on when she got in the tank, or she took them off and brought them in there with her, or whoever may have thrown her in the tank threw her clothes in after her, or something. There was also a sandy particle found on her clothes in the water tank.
Okay.
They haven't released what this particle is.
Mm-hmm.
Supposedly, there was a similar sandy particle kind of in a layer on the roof, like on the floor of the roof.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So did she take off her clothes? They were on the floor. She like gathered them up and jumped in. Was she sitting on the floor? Was she laying on the floor? You know, how this could have happened is a huge cause for speculation, how the particle could have gotten on her clothes.
By the way, just real quick, there is a certain pressure that water towers are supposed to be kept at.
Oh, la-ti-da. Mr. Water Tank expert over here.
I'm just thinking it's fucking odd. Like they're low. Okay, so low water pressure. The door might have been open. I'm just saying it adds up.
Yeah.
And also, when I searched that, the first thing that came up was this case. Actually,
really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Apparently, other people have had the same thought that I have. Because people are smart.
Yeah.
Yeah, it almost seems like the way that she died and was found, it leaves like a possibility for a few different things.
Yeah.
You know, because then there is the case that she was having an episode with bipolar and she decided to get in the tank.
Yeah.
Maybe she was, she was already doing some questionable things and she was just like, oh, I'm going to.
Yeah, like maybe she was just trying to do something spontaneous. She wanted to like do something exciting, or she wanted an adrenaline rush or something.
Or then there's the aspect.
Which seems very strange, but...
Yeah, but she was already doing strange things, And then there's the aspect of her getting murdered, which makes sense because if the door was closed and her clothes being off, her seeming to see somebody or playing games with somebody outside the elevator, it's all that kind of leads up to somebody else was involved,
There's I mean, so like the fact of her clothes being off, leads a lot of people to believe that she was sexually assaulted. Supposedly, initial reports were stated that a rape kit was done but not processed. The rape kit was processed and showed no results.
Okay.
So it is believed that she was not sexually assaulted. She also showed no signs of a struggle. She showed no signs of trauma. She had some cuts and scrapes on her knees and her shins. But that was really about it. She showed no sign of being assaulted in any way. Her body, anyway. They did do a blood test. They tried to do a blood test to determine whether or not she was on any substances. One of the theories is that maybe she was drugged.
Ask her to do that
or
too.
that she was taking some sort of illicit drugs. No drugs were found in her system. Illicit drugs. No illicit drugs were found in her system. But they later talked about, the coroner's office later talked about not being able to conclusively say whether or not she was on her medication because they weren't able to get a good enough blood sample because of the way that her body was in the water for so long or whatever.
Yeah, that'll do it.
Yeah. So I guess it's probably not really conclusively known what drug she was on or if she was on anything or if she was even on her regular medication.
Yeah, and if it was a drug, like if she was on like Molly or fucking ecstasy or something like that, that would have been out of her system pretty quick.
Oh, it was pretty quick, yeah.
And like who knows how long she was swimming in if she was alive when she was in there.
Yeah.
That's like, God, that's a horrific way to go. Holy shit. So anyway, so there's a lot of kind of speculation as to how she got in the water tank, what happened. It is known that she did not go through the internal access to the roof because supposedly the door it was locked and alarmed.
Okay.
So, well, I guess it's not known definitively because if she was with a hotel employee, they could have given her access. They could have let her up there. But I guess the general consensus belief is that she took the fire escape.
Okay.
Because if the only way that she would have been able to get through to the internal roof access is if an employee would have taken her up there. Which isn't, I mean, it's not off the table. You know, we don't really know what happened. Some very, very strange things that are kind of an aside from all of this. This case just has so many weird, like, coincidences. There was a film that came out in 2005 called Dark Water. And this film, the plot of this film is basically a mother and a daughter move into kind of a shitty apartment building, and the water starts coming out black and weird, and the walls start leaking black water, and they're kind of being haunted by a ghost, right? It's a scary movie. Turns out that there was a young girl who was murdered and thrown in the water tank on top of the roof of this apartment building. Yeah. And what's weird is, and this is based off of a Japanese film, so these names are from the remake.
Sure.
But the name of the main character, the mother, her name is Dahlia, and the daughter's name is Cecilia. So just kind of weird little coincidences there.
Suspicious.
Multi-dimensions, man.
Right? There's a lot of just very strange things.
Yeah,
You know, it was really weird because it reminds me of an episode of, well, obviously it's a comedy show, not this being comedy at all, but Scrubs had an episode where JD got locked in the water tower.
Really?
Yeah, they threw him in the water tower. It was like, you know, they did the episodes where like he wasn't the main character and they like what everybody else was doing.
Yeah.
That was one of them. And the janitor locked him in the threw him in the water tower and locked him in there.
Yeah, that's hilarious.
And that definitely came out before this.
Yeah, I think it did. But yeah, so there's also this is kind of a conspiracy theory. So around this time, there was a tuberculosis outbreak in Skid Row. So a bunch of people on Skid Row, homeless people, were getting tuberculosis. There was this big outbreak. And the test that was, and this is like the same year, right, that all of this is happening. The test that was being used to test individuals on Skid Row for tuberculosis was called, and I shit you not, the Elisa test.
Yeah, it's an acronym for a very, very large word.
It is. It's a very long medical word.
Sure.
Yeah. I'm not even gonna.
Yeah.
It's lipo banana
because it's probably Latin. I don't need any more ghost summoning in my home, so keep it to yourself.
So yeah, the test is called the Elisa, spelled exactly the same way as her name. So I mean, it's a crazy coincidence, and it has spawned this conspiracy theory that she was like planted there to spread tuberculosis among the homeless population to take out the homeless people or something.
There's easier ways to do that.
I don't know, man. You go down to Skid Row, you try to sell some drugs, and crackhead's like, I need crack, baby. Like, I ain't got crack, but I got that locust. He's like, what's that? You're like, just try this shit, man.
Locust.
Tell me what you think. Tell all your friends about it.
He said locust.
And then, boom. And it probably didn't do anything to homeless people because they are impenetrable to diseases.
Yeah, really.
Well,
they probably just like tweaked out for a little while and then they were fine.
The fuck was that?
They said, this shit was whack.
I was bleeding out my ass for a little while.
Oh, shit. Amen to that.
So yeah, that was something that was very, very strange.
There was another one I was just reading about a metal band.
A metal band?
Yeah, metal band. This guy was staying at the hotel.
Morbid?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
so this guy, I feel bad for this guy. So go ahead.
Yeah, it's what the fuck is this guy's? I don't have the name. The band is Pablo Vergara. Yeah,
yes, Pablo Vergara.
Yeah, so he was filming a teaser for a music video for a song called Die in Pain. Who's this poorly timed coincidence?
Yeah. It really was. It really was. And he was in so there was this Netflix documentary that came out a couple years ago. I haven't seen it, but supposedly it was trash. I've read a lot about it. I've seen clips from it and whatever. Supposedly the experts that they got on there were trash. There was a lot of misinformation. He was in the documentary, I guess, and supposedly he was got absolutely blasted online. Everyone was blaming him for killing her. And he was just wrong place, wrong time. He really had nothing to do with it.
Yeah, it's just because he was had footage of himself at the Cecil Hotel around the same time she would have been murdered. And
just him splashing in the fucking the tank.
In the water tower.
It's this was splash.
Wouldn't it be crazy if I threw somebody in here?
And then at the time they're investigating, they find the body. He's recording an album in Mexico.
No.
Yeah. No, yeah, it was. I feel bad for him because he was getting death threats and people were. But yeah, no, he didn't really have anything to do with it. But that was another coincidence. It was just all these crazy, weird coincidences. That really lined up perfectly. Another strange thing that people kind of freaked out about initially was that Elisa's Tumblr kept posting things after she died. So So. On Tumblr, you two probably have never used Tumblr, but you can reblog, which is basically like sharing or reposting things, and it was reblogging for months up after her death, tons and tons of posts, and then the very last post, so supposedly people were kind of freaking out about that initially. You can schedule posts on Tumblr. So you can kind of put them in your queue essentially, which is basically you have these posts that you like and you don't want to post them all at once, so you can queue them to be posted in the future.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure you do it on Facebook.
You can. Tumblr was the first one to do it.
Yeah.
So before you could schedule posts on any other platform, you could schedule them on Tumblr. It was a very old feature.
Sure.
So they definitely had this feature at the time when she was using Tumblr. And then basically what lends credence to the the theory that these posts were just queued, that it had nothing crazy going on, was that the last post was a Christmas post. There was a huge gap between the posts, a bunch of posts that went out, and then like 3 months go by, and then like December comes, and that was the last post, and it was like a Christmassy post. And that is basically evidence that she was kind of just coming across these posts as she was scrolling and queuing them for the future. She came across a Christmas post, queued it for December. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that kind of isn't really, it's not, people were like freaking out about that initially, like, oh, someone hacked her Tumblr, or oh, she's still alive, or like whatever. That was debunked pretty quickly.
Right on.
But there's so much misinformation about this case, like out there on the internet, and there's so many people who have made up some crazy conspiracy theories. But essentially, I mean, in my opinion, it kind of just boils down to this girl was having kind of a mental health crisis, and something horrible happened to her. Whether it was someone interfered and took advantage of her in her fragile mental state, or she had some sort of a psychotic break and she was hallucinating and she got in the water tower herself. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, you're in downtown LA, you stay in Skid Row, you're already obviously having some mental problems. You could be having a bad episode, you're off your meds, you run into some questionable people who may offer you some things, give you some, there's so many. It's honestly a perfect fucking storm for this girl,
Yeah, it sounds like it.
It seemed, her chances of living seemed very few, even if it wasn't the case how it was now. One I kind of quickly want to go over. It's definitely not what happened, but it's called the elevator game.
Oh, yeah.
And this is a weird game that started in
This
Korea.
is another thing that adds to like the creep factor of this whole thing. And you guys have to, really quick, definitely go look up this footage, because the footage, even though like we kind of know that it isn't anything paranormal or supernatural, at least we assume.
Yeah.
It's very creepy. It's very weird, strange footage. And then people saw this footage and they kind of thought maybe she's playing the elevator game.
Yeah. So I'm going to go over the rules to the elevator game. It was found somewhere in Korea. I don't know exactly how it got started or the origins of it, but basically you can play this game by yourself or with friends. You have to play it on somewhere that has at minimum 10 floors to travel to on the elevator. So step one, you're the player. You will enter the elevator. Once you enter the elevator with you or yourself, no one else can leave or enter once the door closes. If the case does happen, we get in the elevator and it opens again, somebody else gets in, the game's over. You have to start over. Step two, you can ride the elevator from floor to floor in a specific sequence. First, you're going to go up to the 4th floor, down to the 2nd floor, up to the 6th floor, and then back down to the 2nd floor, and then up to the 10th floor, then down to the 5th floor. And you're not to get off on any of these floors. And almost the same rule applies. Nobody can enter.
You have to be like completely alone.
Yeah, so this is definitely a fucking midnight game. Step 3, when you get to the 5th floor, if you encounter a mysterious woman, do not look at her, do not answer or interact with her. The consequences of engaging with her are said to include the possibility of being left, because they claim that you are now in a different realm.
Yeah, it's a way to travel to another dimension.
Yeah. Sounds like a PS2 cheat code.
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
Step 4. If you've made it past the woman, you didn't interact with her and got back on the elevator, you would have pushed the button to descend from the 5th floor to the 1st floor. And they say if the elevator operates normally, takes you to the 1st floor, exit immediately, do not look back or talk to anybody. But if it instead of taking you from the 5th floor to the 1st floor, the elevator begins to go up, it says, congratulations, you are now in another world.
You made it.
Fucking PS2 cheat codes.
You've made it to the bonus level.
Made it to the bonus level. There's no way back.
Well, shit. All right.
Yeah. Allegedly, you're supposed to resist the urge to flip out and hit the emergency button. And like I said, if you do not interact with or allow anybody on, you should still be able to return back safely. Allegedly.
Yeah.
I don't know if I would recommend this one to try. I don't know of any
you know, you would have messed with that shit.
Yeah, because you probably have to go to Chicago to this one, and don't fuck around in Chicago, kids.
Yeah, no.
That's a really bad idea.
Yeah, don't do that.
The woman who gets on the elevator with you is probably a crackhead. You definitely don't want to engage with her, but
The same rule
still.
applies, actually.
Yeah,
Yeah,
same
pretty
rule
much. Yeah,
applies.
the same rules applies. Pretty much. Yeah. Because even like the nicer hotels I stayed in that have that many floors. Like there's one in Milwaukee I stayed in. I'm like, dude, because like half the elevators clear, so you can like see the lobby and shit.
Yeah.
So I'm just like sitting like looking at like, who the fuck's this asshole?
Yeah.
Like, keep going up and like.
If you can do all of that without interacting with a single person that entire time, you don't want to be in that building.
Yeah,
honestly.
it has to be like super fucking late.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like 2, 3 in the morning type
Yeah,
shit.
yeah, yeah.
That's
Like
why they
where
did this
everybody's
shit in
sleeping.
Korea. That's nobody's fucking.
South Korea is just like America light. North Korea though, that's
That's a different story.
Yeah, that's like Detroit.
That's Detroit.
Yeah, it honestly doesn't really give an origin. It just says like Japanese, Korean, and started around 2011.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Aaron got himself there.
let it out.
I almost said like Gary, Indiana, but I'm like, that's where I'm from. I can't shit on my own home.
I mean,
I can't shit on my own
if
hometown.
anyone's allowed to shit on it,
That's true, but I'm not
You
going
know.
to. Fuck Detroit. It's Detroit.
fuck Detroit. But yeah, so people saw like the elevator footage and like, she's playing the elevator game.
That's it. She's like, fuck. What was it supposed to be?
yeah.
Up, down, left, right, A, B, A, B, A, B.
Right, obviously.
But yeah, there was it's a crazy case. I really encourage anyone who found this interesting to go look it up because there's so much more. There's so much
Yeah.
more involved in this, and there are so many more weird details and unanswered questions and things that were
Yeah.
left out by the police and strange details that I didn't even touch on. And the footage is just so strange.
Yeah, you guys gotta. I'm gonna real quick again for that YouTube video so you guys can see the sped up version.
Yeah.
It's Cody Fry on YouTube. Just Elisa Lamb normal speed, and he'll have a play by play of the regular one and the police release footage one. And there's a huge difference, honestly. Well, the video goes by.
Yeah, and it's crazy
Pretty
because
fast.
the slowed down version is the one that was officially released. So that was the one that was mostly circulated.
Sure.
That's the one that like every time anyone does any media coverage about it, that's what they play. They play the slowed down one, and it looks so much more bizarre than it actually is, I think. It is still very bizarre, don't get me wrong. It's very strange. But like the movements look much more exaggerated. She looks much more confused. She looks like she's moving very unnaturally in the officially released one. So I definitely recommend looking up the normal speed one and making your judgments from that.
Yeah, because like you said, it's like a night and day difference. Honestly, watching them side by side, and you can definitely tell the sped up one is the real one just by like even the motion in her hair when she does kind of like some of the sudden movements.
Yeah.
That looks way more natural,
Yeah, and like I mentioned, when she kind of gets out of the elevator and she's doing like those hand motions, in the slowed down version, it looks like she's just doing these weird gestures for no reason. But in the normal version, it looks like she's gesturing in conversation. Like it looks much more conversational. It looks like she's talking to someone and talking with her hands.
It seems like she's like, all right, you know what? I've had enough.
Yeah.
You're not real.
Yeah. I mean, maybe.
I'm not real. I gotta go first floor.
You're not here. I know you're not real.
It was a combination of
Stop
every single one of
following
these.
me.
Maybe she was off her meds, met up with some crackheads, and she was playing. The crackheads were like, you want to play this fucking crazy game?
Yeah, you want to play the elevator game. Ends with you going on the roof.
Don't play games with crackheads, people.
Another thing I forgot to mention, which was kind of strange, is that some of like her last Instagram posts were pictures of rooftops. Yeah.
Here's that water tank. See how fucking small this goddamn thing is.
It shouldn't be very large.
No, it's not.
Yeah.
It's not. One of the theories about her clothes. So, like, one of the reasons that they're saying she might have taken off her clothes was because when you're getting hypothermia, there's this thing called paradoxical undressing, where, like, yeah, you know about it. So, like, you get basically your body starts making you feel hot, so you want to take off your clothes, even though you're actually hypothermic.
That's a cruel joke.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
I know.
God's got a real fucking funny sense of humor if he's real.
I think we talked about it briefly when we did one of our first episodes.
Get love.
Yeah, Detlef.
Yeah.
Yeah, we did.
Get love.
Detlef.
Get love.
Yeah, they talk about that. That's,
I think we mentioned that during that.
You guys did.
Yeah.
Hey, look at that.
Yeah. And then one theory that I heard, like just one random person on, I think Reddit or something, talk about her clothes was that she, if they maybe like, if she was in there and she was struggling to survive and she noticed the water levels like rising and dropping as the tank was being like used, she maybe would have tried to like stop the water from exiting by like shoving her clothes to try and like if it raised up enough she could maybe get out through the top again. You know, so like that was just that one guy's personal theory that I thought kind of made sense.
Sure.
But like just how she got in there in the first place is crazy to me. Like I can't even fathom. I mean, I obviously, you know, I'm not schizophrenic or bipolar, but
That we know of.
Yeah. And
yet. Are you too real? Or like what?
I hope not. I'm only going to work tomorrow.
you know, even if it was somebody else though who got her up there, like that had to have been a strong motherfucker, you know, to
lift her,
either convince her to go all the way to the roof and then
because it's like it's like a 12-foot ladder or something to get up there onto that water tower.
Yeah, to get her up there, to throw her in, all that stuff. You know.
And then also like in that elevator footage, she was on the 14th floor, which is the top floor. And she would have just had to go up the fire escape one floor to get on the roof, I guess.
Yeah.
But she was staying on the 5th floor. So if she went out on the fire escape from her floor, she would have had to climb up from the 5th to the 14th floor on the fire escape and then get up there, climb onto like a platform, and then climb up a 12-foot ladder. Like, that sounds exhausting.
Yeah. And honestly, I was thinking about you were saying earlier about like if the alarm would have went off for the fire escape. But honestly, I've stood at hotels before. Aaron knows I'm fucking nosy.
Oh, as fuck, yes.
Yeah, I've stood at hotels where I've been in areas I am not supposed to go to.
Oh, yeah.
Just
so
simply
like,
because doors were open or...
So like the hotel tried to say that like, oh no, it's impossible for her to get up there. Like she wouldn't have had access, blah, 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 blah. Like we don't know how she got up there. They were saying like the door is alarmed. It was locked. We always keep it locked. They were trying to avoid liability, right?
Yeah.
But apparently it was pretty well known that people like kind of hung out on the roof. Like there was graffiti up there. The like locals, like some of the people who were kind of like drug addicts and they would, the people who like lived there, they would go up to the roof to like do drugs and like hang out with each other. So it was kind of like it was a little bit of like a hangout spot up on the roof. So it was very easy, and it's known that it was very easy to access the roof despite what the hotel says.
Yeah, that's kind of crazy. I don't know. I for me, I chalk it up to a combination of a lot of these things. As crazy as it sounds, you know, but it's just...
Yeah. Oh, another thing that was kind of weird. Gosh, there's so many things. I could go on forever, but so no one really knows where her phone is. So
like till this day, they haven't found her phone?
So it's believed that the LAPD is in possession of her phone. However, they have never released any information about it. They haven't even released that whether or not they have it. So they were asked in a press conference about her phone, and all they said was they don't really want to talk about the phone. That's all they said. So it's believed that they are in possession of her phone, but the family has never seen it. No information has been released about it. Apparently, it's a closed case, so it should be freely available through the Freedom of Information Act. And several people have requested it through the Freedom of Information Act, but no one has received it. So it's unknown to the public where her phone is, who is in possession of it, whether it was lost or stolen, or if they have it, if there's evidence on it. No one really knows anything about her phone.
Okay, that's weird.
Yep.
Yeah, that's crazy.
And you would think that like they would release that information because there could be evidence on there that could lead to answers, you know, like
yeah, it seems like somehow the way she died may have involved an employee or somebody with power, and they were just like, oh, they saw the footage, they were like, oh, you can't
yeah,
just cut that minute.
I mean, maybe, yeah. Well, so yeah, that was the thing about like the footage having a minute missing out of it was perhaps like someone another hotel guest who was like unrelated to the case walked past the elevator and they were like trying to protect that person's identity or something. So there is kind of a logical explanation for that, but there's really no reason that anyone can think of as to why the footage is slowed down.
Yeah, that's odd. I got nothing for that, honestly.
So
I couldn't imagine.
But anyway. Yeah, it's crazy. It's a crazy, crazy case. And this is the one that got me. This is the one.
Yeah, this is what started it all.
This is what started it all. I started reading about this case years and years ago.
Those are the best though, because like there's just so many. I mean, a lot of the true crime stuff is just basically just giving you all the facts, all the gruesome fucking details. But this is one of those ones where like really, it could go any way. You know,
Yeah.
It's really up to you just to kind of put the pieces together. You know,
Indeed,
Yep.
Indeed. Well then. You guys good?
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
you got anything else?
no, that's it. Yeah.
All right.
All right. Fantastic. Fantastic. Well, once again, we thank you all for listening to the Required Taste Podcast. We are coming out every Tuesday still. We're actually doing pretty good with that.
Yeah.
On Tuesday. So, yeah, like as usual, give us a like and follow on all your favorite social medias. Give us a follow on your favorite listening posts as well, because we do see that and we appreciate that.
Yeah.
So,
And
happy Halloween.
check us out on Patreon too.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. Yeah, we have Patreon. Can't do that.
And happy Halloween.
And happy Halloween.
Thanks, guys.
Bye.
Be cool.